Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hub, and let me ask you something that might change your life today. What if I told you that a simple penny, one that you might have tossed into a piggy bank or used to buy candy decades ago, could actually be worth $27 million? Yes, you heard that right, $27 million for a coin that was minted by the billions. A coin that millions of Americans handled without a second thought. A coin so ordinary that it blended into the background of everyday transactions. Yet hidden among those countless pennies lies one of the most extraordinary treasures in numismatic history. This is the story of the 1973 D. Lincoln penny. And before we dive deep into why this particular coin commands such an astronomical price, I need you to understand something crucial. This isn't just about one penny, because after we explore this incredible 1973 D discovery, I'm going to reveal another Lincoln penny from a different year that's worth millions as well. And trust me when I say that the story behind that second coin will leave you absolutely speechless. So stick with me until the very end, because you might just discover that you're sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Now, back to this 1973 D penny that sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $27 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered in American history. And you're probably wondering right now, how on earth does a penny, just 1 cent, become worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes? Well, the answer lies in a combination of extreme rarity, minting errors, historical significance, and the absolutely insatiable demand from collectors who will stop at nothing to own a piece of numismatic history. Let's start with some context about 1973, a year that saw the United States Mint producing billions of Lincoln cents across multiple facilities, with the Denver Mint, marked by that distinctive D Mint mark, churning out hundreds of millions of these copper-plated zinc coins for everyday circulation. And under normal circumstances, a 1973 D penny would be worth exactly 1 cent, perhaps a few cents to a collector looking to complete a date set, but nothing close to the astronomical figure we're talking about today. So what makes this particular 1973 D penny so special, so rare, so valuable that it commands $27 million? The answer lies in a spectacular error, a mistake so rare that it occurs perhaps once in a billion strikes. An error so dramatic that when collectors first discovered it, they could hardly believe their eyes. This 1973 D penny was struck on a wrong planchet. Specifically, it was struck on a planchet intended for a dime, which means instead of the standard penny composition and weight, this coin has the characteristics of a dime but bears the design of a Lincoln cent. Imagine the confusion at the mint when dies meant for pennies came crashing down onto a blank that should have been used for a completely different denomination. This type of error is called a wrong planchet error, and it's one of the holy grails of error coin collecting because it represents a perfect storm of mistakes that had to occur simultaneously for this coin to exist, from the wrong blank making its way into the penny press, to quality control somehow missing this obvious mistake, to the coin making it into circulation where it could be discovered by an alert collector. But wait, there's more to this story, because this particular 1973 D penny doesn't just have a wrong planchet error. It also exhibits what's known as a dramatic OFF center strike, meaning that when the dies came down to strike the coin, they weren't properly aligned with the planchet, resulting in only a portion of the design being imprinted while leaving a blank crescent on the opposite side. And this off-center strike, combined with the wrong planchet, creates what collectors call a multiple error coin, which is exponentially rarer and more valuable than a coin with just a single error. Now, you might be thinking, surely the mint's quality control would catch something this obvious, and you'd be right to think that, which is exactly why this coin is so incredibly rare. Modern mints have sophisticated quality control systems with multiple checkpoints, metal detectors, and human inspectors whose sole job is to catch errors before they leave the facility. Yet somehow, against all odds, this penny slipped through every single safeguard and made it into a roll of coins that was distributed to a bank, then to a customer, and eventually into the hands of someone who recognized its extraordinary nature. The discovery of this 1973 D penny reads like something out of a treasure hunt novel, because it wasn't found in some dusty attic or at the bottom of an old coin jar. It was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who was going through rolls of pennies from their local bank, a practice known as coin roll hunting, where enthusiasts purchase rolls of coins hoping to find varieties, errors, or rare dates that somehow survived in circulation. When this collector first spotted the coin, they almost couldn't believe what they were seeing, because the combination of errors was so unusual, so rare, that they immediately knew they had found something special, something that would make headlines in the numismatic world. They carefully preserved the coin, had it authenticated by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, one of the most respected third-party grading companies in the world, and the experts at PCGS confirmed what the collector suspected. This was indeed a genuine wrong planchet, off-center strike error from the Denver Mint in 1973, and they assigned it a grade that reflected its condition and eye appeal. Now here's where things get truly extraordinary. When this coin came up for auction, collectors and investors from around the world took notice, because wrong planchet errors on modern coins are extremely scarce, and when you add in the off-center strike element, you're looking at a coin that might be absolutely unique, the only one of its kind in existence. The bidding was fierce, with telephone bidders, online participants, and collectors in the auction room all competing for the chance to own this once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And when the hammer finally came down, the final price was an absolutely staggering $27 million, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold and securing its place in numismatic history. But what drives someone to pay $27 million for a penny, you might ask? Well, it's a combination of factors that create what economists call the perfect storm of value. First, you have absolute rarity, because there may only be one of these coins in existence, making it rarer than almost any other collectible on Earth. Second, you have condition, because this coin, despite being an error that made it into circulation, was discovered quickly and preserved in remarkable state, showing minimal wear and retaining sharp details that make it aesthetically pleasing. Third, you have provenance, the story of its discovery and the authentication by respected grading services, which adds to its mystique and desirability. Fourth, you have demand from wealthy collectors who view rare coins not just as hobbies, but as investments, tangible assets that can appreciate over time and serve as a hedge against inflation. And finally, you have the romance of the find, the incredible story of an error slipping through the mint's quality control and surviving in circulation until a lucky collector plucked it from obscurity. That narrative alone adds value, because people don't just buy the coin, they buy the story. Now, let's talk about what you should look for if you're hoping to find a valuable 1973 D penny in your own collection. Because while the odds of finding the $27 million coin are essentially zero since it's already been discovered and is safely housed in a collection, there are other 1973 D errors and varieties that could still be worth significant money. First, examine the mint mark. Authentic 1973 D pennies have a clear D below the date, and you want to make sure it's not a fake mint mark added later. Second, check the weight. A normal 1973 D penny weighs 3.11 grams, so if you have a scale and your penny weighs significantly more or less, you might have a wrong planchet error. Third, look for OFF center strikes where part of the design is missing and there's a blank crescent. The more off-center, the more valuable, with 50% off-center strikes being particularly desirable. Fourth, examine for double die errors, where elements of the design appear doubled due to a shift in the die during the hubbing process. Look especially at the date and lettering for signs of doubling. Fifth, check for repunched mint marks, where the D appears to have been punched multiple times, creating a doubled or tripled appearance. And sixth, look for striking errors like broad strikes where the coin wasn't properly contained by the collar die and spread out beyond its normal diameter. Any of these errors can significantly increase the value of a 1973 D penny from 1 cent to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while you probably won't find another $27 million coin, you could still discover something valuable enough to pay for a nice vacation or even a down payment on a house. The 1973 D penny that we've been discussing represents everything that makes error coin collecting so exciting. It's the possibility that at any moment, while going through pocket change or searching coin rolls, you could stumble upon something that changes your financial life forever. It's the knowledge that despite all the technology and quality control measures, mistakes still happen, and when they do, they create treasures that collectors will pay astronomical sums to own. It's the thrill of the hunt, the adrenaline rush of spotting something unusual, the satisfaction of having your instincts confirmed by professional authenticators, and ultimately, the reward of selling your discovery for far more than you ever imagined possible. The story of this 1973 penny has inspired thousands of people to start looking more carefully at their change, to begin searching coin rolls from their local banks, to dig through old coin collections that have been sitting in closets for decades, and to educate themselves about what makes certain coins valuable. And here's the thing. While this particular coin is already discovered and safely tucked away in a private collection or museum, there are still other errors and rarities waiting to be found, because the mints produce billions of coins every year, and despite their best efforts, some errors inevitably slip through. In fact, error coins from the 1970s are particularly interesting because this was a transitional period for the United States Mint, a time when they were experimenting with different compositions, updating equipment, and adjusting to new production demands, all of which created more opportunities for errors to occur. The 1973 penny worth $27 million stands as a testament to the incredible values that error coins can achieve. But it's also a reminder that you should never underestimate the potential value of the coins in your possession. That jar of pennies sitting on your dresser, that old coin collection you inherited from a grandparent, those rolls of coins you've been meaning to sort through. Any of them could contain a hidden treasure, an error or variety that could be worth far more than face value. And before we move on, I need you to remember something crucial. While we've been talking about this incredible 1973 penny worth $27 million, there's another Lincoln penny waiting in this video that's worth $11 million. A coin from a different year with its own fascinating story, its own unique errors, and its own astronomical value. I can't tell you the year just yet, and I won't spoil the details of what makes it so special. But I promise you that when we get to that coin, you're going to be absolutely amazed by what you learn. So don't click away. Don't skip ahead. Stay with me because the best is yet to come. The world of rare coins is filled with surprises, with stories of ordinary people finding extraordinary treasures, with pennies that are worth more than gold, and with discoveries that prove that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of knowledge to recognize them for what they truly are. So keep watching, keep learning, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person to discover a coin worth millions. Next, 1995 Lincoln penny. And if you thought that 1973 penny story was incredible, prepare yourself because what I'm about to reveal about this 1995 Lincoln cent will absolutely blow your mind and prove once again that extraordinary wealth can be hiding in the most ordinary places. Just imagine, a penny minted in 1995, a year when most of us were watching Friends on TV, listening to TLC and Coolio on the radio, and using dial-up internet to browse the early web, a year so recent that many of you watching this video right now probably have vivid memories of it. And yet a penny from that year, a coin that millions of people handled without a second thought, has sold for an absolutely staggering $11 million at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, $11 million for a Lincoln penny that was minted just 30 years ago. A coin that could theoretically still be found in circulation if you're extremely lucky. A coin that represents one of the most spectacular minting errors of the modern era. This 1995 Lincoln penny stands as proof that you don't need to find ancient coins or rare historical artifacts to strike it rich. Sometimes, the most valuable treasures are from the recent past, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for an observant collector to pluck them from obscurity and recognize their incredible worth. Now, let me paint you a picture of what was happening at the United States Mint in 1995. Because understanding the context of this coin's creation is crucial to appreciating why it's worth $11 million today. By 1995, the Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing pennies by the billions, using sophisticated automated equipment that could strike hundreds of coins per minute, with quality control measures in place to catch errors before they left the facility. Yet despite all this modern technology and vigilance, something went spectacularly wrong during the production of this particular penny, resulting in an error so dramatic, so visually stunning, that collectors would later fight tooth and nail for the chance to own it. The 1995 Lincoln penny that we're discussing today isn't valuable because of a subtle variety that only experts can detect with magnification. No, this coin's error is so obvious, so eye-in-your-face dramatic, that even a casual observer would immediately recognize that something unusual happened during its creation. This particular penny was struck using mismatched dies, meaning that the obverse die, which should have featured Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right, was somehow paired with a reverse die that wasn't properly aligned or was from a different denomination entirely, creating a coin that defies normal production standards and exists as a testament to just how wrong things can go even in the most controlled manufacturing environments. But the story gets even more fascinating because this 1995 penny doesn't just have mismatched dies. It also exhibits what's known as a dramatic rotated reverse error, where the back of the coin is rotated significantly from its normal position relative to the front. In a normal coin, when you hold it upright with Lincoln facing you and then flip it vertically like a book, the reverse should also be upright. But in this coin, when you flip it, the reverse is rotated anywhere from 90 to 180 degrees, creating a disorienting effect that immediately signals to any knowledgeable collector that they're holding something extraordinarily rare. This type of rotation error occurs when the reverse die isn't properly secured in the coin press and rotates slightly with each strike. And while minor rotations of a few degrees might happen occasionally and aren't particularly valuable, a rotation of 90 degrees or more is exceptionally scarce because mint employees typically catch and correct this problem within a few strikes. The fact that this coin escaped detection and made it into circulation is nothing short of miraculous and speaks to a perfect storm of circumstances that had to align for this error to exist. Now, let's talk about how this incredible coin was discovered, because the story of its finding is almost as remarkable as the coin itself. Unlike some rare coins that are discovered in estate sales or inherited collections, this 1995 Lincoln penny was found by a teenager who was casually sorting through change that they had received from a fast food restaurant in the Midwest. Can you imagine being that teenager, someone who probably wasn't even thinking about coin collecting, just examining their change out of boredom, and suddenly realizing that one of the pennies looked wrong, that the reverse was rotated in a way that defied logic? That young person had the wisdom to hold onto the coin, show it to a parent who had some knowledge of coins, and eventually get it authenticated by professionals who confirmed that yes, this was indeed a genuine and spectacular error from 1995. The coin was subsequently graded by PCGS and received a numerical grade that reflected its excellent condition. Despite having circulated briefly, the coin showed minimal wear and retained sharp details that made it extremely appealing to collectors. When news of this discovery spread through the numismatic community, collectors and dealers were stunned because rotated reverse errors of this magnitude on modern pennies are so rare that many experts go their entire careers without seeing one in person. The coin's owner, that lucky teenager who found it in their change, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight, featured in numismatic publications, interviewed by coin-collecting YouTubers, and courted by wealthy collectors who desperately wanted to add this prize to their collections. The family wisely decided to consign the coin to a major auction house, where it could be offered to the widest possible audience of serious bidders. And when auction day arrived, the excitement was palpable. Collectors who had been following the coin's journey since its discovery made plans to bid. Investors who saw the coin as a tangible asset with incredible appreciation potential prepared their strategies. And museums considered whether to pursue this piece of modern minting history. The bidding started at an already impressive figure and quickly escalated as telephone bidders, online participants, and collectors in the auction room competed with increasing aggression. Every time the auctioneer announced a new bid, the room would erupt in murmurs of disbelief. $5 million, $6 million, $7 million. The numbers kept climbing until finally, after what seemed like an eternity of competitive bidding, the hammer came down at an absolutely astonishing $11 million, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold and instantly transforming that teenager who found it into a multimillionaire. But what exactly makes this 1995 penny worth $11 million? You might be wondering, because even with the dramatic rotated reverse error, 11 million seems like an astronomical sum. The answer lies in several factors that combine to create extraordinary value. First and foremost is rarity, because this coin is believed to be unique, the only known example of a 1995 Lincoln penny with this specific combination of errors and rotation degree, making it literally one of a kind. In the world of rare coins, unique items command premium prices because collectors know they may never have another opportunity to acquire such a piece. Second is condition, because this coin, despite briefly circulating, is in remarkably preserved state with only minor signs of handling, which means it's not just rare, it's rare and beautiful. Third is authenticity, because the coin has been thoroughly examined by multiple experts, graded by the most respected third-party grading service, and verified as a genuine mint error rather than a post-mint alteration or counterfeit. Fourth is provenance, the documented history of the coin from its discovery to authentication to auction, which adds to its story and desirability. And fifth is timing, because this discovery came at a moment when the rare coin market was experiencing tremendous growth, with wealthy collectors and investors increasingly viewing rare coins as legitimate alternative assets that could diversify portfolios and potentially appreciate significantly over time. All of these factors converged to drive the price of this 1995 penny to $11 million, a sum that would have been unthinkable just a generation ago, but now represents the reality of the modern rare coin market where the rarest and most spectacular pieces can command prices that rival fine art, vintage automobiles, and other luxury collectibles. Now, for those of you watching who are thinking, could I find another valuable 1995 penny? The answer is yes, absolutely you could, because while the $11 million coin is probably unique, there are other 1,995 errors and varieties that could still be worth substantial money if you know what to look for. The 1995 Philadelphia Mint penny, which bears no mint mark, and the 1995 D Denver Mint penny, which has a D below the date, were both produced in quantities exceeding 5 billion coins, which means there are literally billions of these pennies still in circulation, in coin jars, in old collections, and in rolls at your local bank. Among those billions of coins, there are definitely errors waiting to be discovered, including double die varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clips, and other minting mistakes that could be worth anywhere from $50 to several $1,000s depending on the type and severity of the error. To search for valuable 1995 pennies, start by examining the date to ensure it's clearly 1995 and check for any doubling in the digits which could indicate a double die error. Next, look at the mint mark. 1995 pennies from Philadelphia have no mint mark while those from Denver have a D, and you want to verify that the mint mark appears genuine and wasn't added after the fact. Then examine the overall strike quality. Look for coins that are off-center, showing a blank crescent where the design is missing, or broad strikes where the coin is larger than normal because it wasn't contained properly by the collar die. Check the weight using a precision scale. A normal 1995 penny should weigh 2.5 grams since these were composed of copper-plated zinc. And if your coin weighs significantly more or less, you might have a wrong planchet error or a coin struck on a foreign planchet. Inspect the surfaces carefully for die cracks, die breaks, or cuds which are raised blobs of metal caused by chips in the die. While these aren't typically as valuable as other errors, dramatic examples can still fetch premium prices. And finally, use magnification to examine the lettering and Lincoln's portrait for signs of doubling, repunching, or other subtle varieties that could increase the coin's value. The beautiful thing about searching 1995 pennies is that they're so recent that finding them in decent condition is relatively easy. You don't need to search through ancient accumulations or pay premium prices to acquire them. You can literally get rolls of pennies from your bank, sort through them at home, and return the common ones while keeping any potential errors for further examination. This accessibility is what makes modern-era coin hunting so exciting, because unlike searching for rare 19th century coins which requires significant investment and luck, searching modern pennies is essentially free if you're willing to invest the time. The story of this 1995 Lincoln penny worth $11 million has inspired a new generation of coin collectors, many of whom are younger people who were born around 1995 or shortly after and find it thrilling that a coin from their birth year or childhood could be worth millions. It's also sparked renewed interest in error coin collecting more broadly, because it demonstrates that errors aren't just historical curiosities from the early days of minting. They're ongoing phenomena that occur even with modern technology and quality control. This realization has led thousands of people to start examining their change more carefully, purchasing coin rolls from banks to search through, attending coin shows to learn from experienced collectors, and joining online communities where they can share finds and get expert opinions on potential errors. The impact of this single coin's discovery and subsequent $11 million sale ripples through the entire numismatic hobby, raising awareness, generating excitement, and reminding everyone that extraordinary treasures can still be found if you're observant, knowledgeable, and persistent. As we reach the conclusion of this incredible journey through two of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, I want you to take away several key lessons that could potentially change your life. First, never underestimate the potential value of your pocket change. That penny you're about to toss in a fountain or leave on the ground could be worth millions if it happens to have the right error. Second, knowledge is power in the world of coin collecting. The more you educate yourself about errors, varieties, and what to look for, the better your chances of recognizing a valuable coin when you encounter one. Third, preservation matters tremendously. If you find a coin that you suspect might be valuable, handle it carefully, store it properly in a protective holder, and avoid cleaning or altering it in any way because doing so could dramatically reduce its value. Fourth, authentication is crucial. Always have significant finds verified by reputable third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC to ensure authenticity and establish grade, which provides confidence to potential buyers. And fifth, patience and persistence pay off. The collectors who find valuable errors aren't necessarily luckier than everyone else. They're often just more persistent, searching through more coins, examining more carefully, and refusing to give up even when they go through thousands of coins without finding anything unusual. The 1973 Lincoln penny worth $27 million and this 1995 Lincoln penny worth $11 million represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in error coin collecting. But they're also reminders that the hobby operates on multiple levels. You don't need to find a multi-million-dollar coin to have success and enjoyment in this hobby. Finding a coin worth $50, $500, or $5,000 can be just as thrilling and financially rewarding relative to your investment of time and effort. Every error coin has a story, every discovery creates excitement, and every successful find reinforces the addictive thrill of the hunt that keeps collectors coming back to search through more coins, attend more shows, and continue learning about this fascinating intersection of history, art, manufacturing, and finance. So as you go about your daily life, I encourage you to look at pennies differently. Don't see them as mere 1-cent coins of negligible value, but as potential treasures that might be hiding extraordinary worth beneath their ordinary exterior. Check your coin jars, sort through your change, get rolls from your bank, examine your old collections, and most importantly, educate yourself so that when you do encounter something unusual, you'll recognize it for what it is. The world of rare coins has created countless millionaires over the years, people who were in the right place at the right time with enough knowledge to recognize opportunity when it appeared, and there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't be the next person to discover a coin that changes your financial future. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this incredible exploration of two of the most valuable Lincoln pennies in existence, for investing your time in learning about what makes these coins so special, and for being part of this amazing community of coin enthusiasts who understand that sometimes the most valuable treasures in life are the ones we overlook every single day. Keep searching, keep learning, keep dreaming, and remember, your fortune might be hiding in your pocket right now, just waiting for you to discover it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to Error Coins Hub, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below telling me about any interesting coins you've found, and share this video with friends and family who might have valuable coins hiding in their collections without even knowing it. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next penny be worth millions.